Hey, it's Shelin. The drum bus is a very powerful mixing tool that has been introduced with Live 10. In my opinion, this could easily be a plugin worth $100 just itself alone. It's a combination of compression, saturation, overdrive, all made for drums. So whatever the genre of music you produce, you want the drums to be powerful, punchy, and to make people dance, because that's the basics of dance music. So the problem in modern production is that we use samples from different sample packs where the sounds have different character, styles, volumes, etc. So you end up with all these different pieces of sound that don't necessarily fit together, which is a problem because before we would be using a drum set and everything is tuned together and it sounds well together thanks to the engineer. So the drum bus will help you do exactly that. Take different types of samples, bring them together and compress them, saturate, overdrive, etc. to all make it fit together and sound like a coherent piece of rhythm of music. The compress button, for example, will easily create a very strong compression just with one click. Let's distort with drive and crunch. It will give character and bring out the mids and the highs. Damp is an EQ that will reduce the higher frequencies, which can be quite harsh. And for drums, you don't always need very strong high frequencies. Transient will bring out the click, so the punchiness of your drum sounds. And boom will bring out the bass power, the subby part of the kick and the toms, for example. So I'm choosing a simple loop with a slow BPM so you can easily hear the changes. So it's very important to compare with similar volume. The thing is, when you apply the drum bus, everything will kind of jump off the speakers. It will sound loud, but it doesn't mean that it will sound good. So you need to compare at the same level, simply because the human ear loves loudness. So you might think the sound is better, but indeed it's removing character, it's removing the clickiness, the transient, and making it too harsh. So what you have to do is constantly adjust the volume here and lower it so that when the plugin is off or on, it's at the same volume. So by default, the damp will be at this level. It's too low in my opinion, it cuts off too much of the highs. I usually put it back to 20k so I hear everything and then lower it to taste. So the compress button is really powerful, but I often use it to try and see how it brings out the groove. For most settings like the drive, I usually push it quite hard to hear how it sounds and then lower it so that it's more reasonable and more to my taste. So as you heard, damp reduced the higher frequencies. Compression gave some good punch. It also brought out the reverb and the space. And drive is good too. So most of the time you don't need extreme settings. You just need a little something to bring out the sound. So 50% hard mode and 20% crunch. So here we are in the more extreme settings. So the kick was round and warm and now it became thin and more thumpier. So it has more energy in the mids and the high. It was dry and dynamic and now it's fully compressed, more in your face. Same for the hi-hat, which were subtle. And now it's way more in your face and brings out the rhythm and pushes the rhythm forward. Did I choose the proper settings? Well, it's impossible to say. The thing is, mixing always depends on everything. Depends on your kick, on your snare, on the style, on the synths, on the bass, and on many other things. And most importantly, it depends on your taste. So the main idea is to always listen carefully and then adjust and follow your creativity, your taste. That's what's gonna bring the best of the sound. So the plugin also works on individual tracks. So you can hear how the dynamics are completely lost. It's way more in your face, way more robotic, and less groovy. And you can visually see that all the squares are way bigger and more uniform. It's all the same now. So visually, there's a big difference on the kicks too here. Transients come out because of the compression and the body as well, because of the saturation. And I also use the boom to get more subs, and I can control the frequency with the function and the specific note. I hope the tutorial was useful. Peace.